So today we're going to talk about the latest Unearthed Arcana, which is a section in the Dungeons & Dragons website where lets you kind of talk about or look at potential new things coming out.
Test it.
Yeah. And recently they brought in Psionics for the fighter, for the rogue, and for the wizard. And I have to say, I was kind of worried in the beginning. I remember when Psionics came out for 2nd edition, around the same time when Dark Sun came out. And Dark Sun was an interesting idea, but it doesn't have legs. So when I heard that bringing Psionics in, I was like, okay, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But I got to read The Fighter, Rogue, and Wizard, and it's not so bad. At least the Rogue one's my favorite. Soulknife is kind of the archetype that's now available for it, which allows you to draw a sonic weapon. And then it as you level up, you can become more powerful and use it in different ways. And what are your thoughts about it?
I mean, I of course love it. It's the fun thing about it. It gives you advantages and disadvantages at the same time. Quite a few advantages. When I first read it, because of having these psychic blades that randomly appear and eventually having the ability to just become invisible. When we were reading Descent into Avernus, there was a background called the Faceless that this reminded me of, because the Faceless was very much you become like a roguish superhero type, and I love the idea of like a vigilante fighting crime, Soulknife invisible, and just like and that's like, and just having that kind of background, just like those two meshed really well together for me, and like that's a character that I think would be really fun to make.
It sort of reminds me of Ninja a little bit, and what I mean by Ninja is really Psylocke from the X-Men.
That's perfect. They had there's one level, I think it's either level 3 or level 6, that you get enhancements where you actually get to choose every day what the little enhancement you get is. And like, so you get either telepathy up to 30 feet, which again, going with psionics, like I love that. Or you like get a little more movement, and I forget what the third one is, but like just having these little options where you're like, all right, woke up. What are we doing today? Is this a stealth mission? All right, telepathy, so I can talk to my people. Like it lets you customize. Maybe you are going to be a thief today, so you got to have a little extra speed. So you're like, well, I'm gonna bump up my my walking speed a little bit. And I like that. I like the ability to like wake up in the day. And it's kind of like druid or cleric, where you're choosing your spells in the morning to like to utilize them. The fact that you can utilize like your abilities, like, and be like, yeah, no, this is what I want today. No, this is what I want today.
So what are your thoughts about the Psychic Warrior, the new martial archetype for fighters?
So for me, I know we both went different ways with our little sci-fi knowledge. Like I went Mass Effect.
And I went to this reminded me of a Jedi from Star Wars,
which is great. That's what it very much reminded me of, because it's very much like every physical aspect of you got a little more of an enhancement. Especially like the armament stuff, where it was like, if you are the front end fighter, you can make your strikes better, or if you are the tank, maybe you want to protect somebody else, and like you can like almost toss up a shield to protect somebody else.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Which like reduce other people's damage. That's great. That makes you more of a threat and makes people want to focus on you more. Which like as like the tank, that kind of like makes more sense.
So yeah, I do like the martial archetype. It doesn't seem overbalanced. It seems like it should be fine in any campaign.
Yeah, when like you balance like say like critting on a 19 or 20 versus like some of the smaller skills you get at the beginning, and I think they level up enough. Like I will say that like I love the bulwark thing. Just the idea of, again, it felt very Mass Effect-y, where it was like throw up a psychic shield to give you guys half cover, so +2 AC to. If you have a group of fighters in the back and like you're like trying to, or you hold the front line at the last minute, the idea of having that's like super nice, like a last minute, just a little bit of like a canopy, and then like the last feature, when like you start gaining health back as you're fighting, to just like stay in the fray even longer, is good. I think this one definitely doesn't feel unbalanced. It might be lacking some stuff, but I think all the flavor is correctly there. Like all the flavor fits really, really well.
With the fighter and rogue, I kind of want to. I mean, if you always wanted to have like a Jedi,
combine them.
Combine them.
Oh, combine all three. Well, that's the really nice things about these too.
Yeah. So let's talk about the arcane tradition for psionics. So pretty much wizards can have psionic abilities. I think we spoke about this a little before. I don't know about this. It seems a bit overpowered. The fact that you could go into some sort of astral form, which I'm borrowing that from Doctor Strange,
Yep.
and then just do different things. It's, to me, I don't know. I'm not feeling this the way I'm feeling the other two.
So I kind of understand it because like I mean like barbarians have like the totem where it's like you half all damage to everything basically. So I understand that like maybe every once in a while like I think this is the only wizard class by itself that like has the ability to like reduce damage to that great of ability, and like I understand having this like unique form, but the one limitation that I read and I really liked about it was that you can only cast spells that don't require material components that cost gold. So if you imagine you are I can't remember any of the big spells that require like the cost, but imagine you were in the psychic form and like you need to do something that requires like a material cost. You're stuck in this form, or unless you want to drop it, and then if you drop it, you're in danger of whatever reason. Like, so there's a little bit of take there, but I agree. Like some of the abilities just seem very strong. The cantrips, I think my favorite part is like each cantrip that you get in the beginning. They're like friends is a little more unique, message is a little more unique, and I think it was mage hand. Like so, each of them like involved telepathy or telekinesis instead of being just a spell, which is kind of cool.
All right. Would you allow this in your campaign?
I mean, I allow almost anything in my campaign, which is probably not a great thing to recommend, but like I mean I still love the idea. Like the thought form is interesting, but like also you get like the fly speed, which is kind of cool, which again I think like it's same as Aarakocra. Like some people find it overpowered. I would allow anybody to play any of these, to be honest, but now that you said it, I really like the idea of combining them because one of my favorite aspects is like, you know, with Rogue, your best ability is always going to be Dex. Yeah. And then your second ability, you're always going to put it into Constitution. And like, same thing with Fighter, it's either Strength or Dex, maybe a combination, and then Constitution. And then you almost ignore every other stat unless like you're making a face or you're making like a specific aspect. These help you, like, these give those, a Fighter and a Rogue, a reason to put something in intelligence. It gives a reason for anybody to put anything in intelligence. With Artificer coming out, and then like with all the new wizard stuff, it gives intelligence a better reason to exist.
Yeah.
to me, because like before it was just like, okay, you have two quarter casters, third casters. What are Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster? They're 1/3 casters or something like that.
I think so. I gotta look back and see.
Yeah, so like that.
I didn't read my books.
So there's those two. And then there was Wizard, and those are the only people that used intelligence for anything. But now with Artificer and then these new Fighter and Rogue stuff, I think you have a reason to like use those attributes.
Yes. Have you looked at this yet? I'll put a link below so you can check it out. Let us know what you think, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
See ya.